My name is Grainne Smith and I'm a Quality Specialist with the Tal West Childhood Development Initiative. In 2004, CDI undertook a needs analysis in the area of Tal West and published a report entitled How Are Our Kids? This report found that there was an overrepresentation of families in poverty, lone parent families and families experiencing stress due to multiple disadvantages. As a result of this, CDI established an early intervention speech and language therapy model. This model was part of the Early Years programme and the Healthy Schools programme. In both instances, it was responding to a need for additional services in the area of speech and language. Research suggests that speech and language difficulties are further compounded in areas of disadvantage. So the CDI early intervention model sought to provide assessment and therapy to children, provide training and support to parents, and training and support to staff. Given the research and the demand for speech and language in the area, the need for this model was very clear. In 2008, consultation was held with the local HSE Speech and Language Therapy Service to determine and outline what was needed for the area. Following extensive consultation and discussions, an on-site delivery model was established. 2 therapists were employed to work in the 9 early years services and 5 primary schools. Recruitment guidelines and job descriptions are drawn up in collaboration with the HSE and support was given with the recruitment process. As CDI's ethos is to commission service delivery, the employment of these 2 therapists was through a local community-based organisation. A tendering process was initiated and the successful community organisation selected. It was clear from the outset that this nature of service delivery required clear protocols, policies and procedures. The senior speech and language therapist, in collaboration with the HSE, developed policies and guidelines for schools and early years services. Meetings were held at the early years service and schools to discuss these policies and procedures, which clearly outlined roles and responsibilities, as well as expectations. All training was delivered by the speech and language therapists to both parents and staff. Accredited and non-accredited training formed the basis of the staff training. Such trainings included Hannon and Eklund. Staff were supported to attend these trainings and were given on-site support by the therapists in order to implement the learning from the training. Parents received a mix of one-to-one support from the therapists as well as group sessions. These group sessions were in the form of coffee mornings, and these are a really good way for parents to get to meet the therapist and the therapist to get to meet the parents. It also provided a peer support network for parents of children who've got speech and language difficulties. Training was delivered by therapists to the staff in the early years services in primary schools and was a mix of accredited and non-accredited training. Some forms of the accredited training were Eklund and Hannon. Non-accredited training formed the basis of understanding speech and language milestones, as well as supporting children who have English as a second language. Typically, these training sessions were offered at the beginning of the academic year, and then as needs arose throughout the year. A memorandum of understanding was established between the funder, so CDI, the employer, the HSE, and the CDI-funded speech and language therapists. This clearly outlined roles, responsibilities and expectations. The HSE Principal Speech and Language Therapist provided clinical supervision and support to the senior CDI speech and language therapists. This ensured effective service delivery and avoided duplication of services. Tripartite meetings are held between HSE, CDI and the employer to maximise service delivery and identify needs. The CDI therapists submit quarterly reports to CDI outlining numbers referred, attendance rates and discharge rates. Monthly reviews are held with the speech and language therapist and CDI to look at ongoing and day-to-day service provision. This service was evaluated by DIT in 2011. It was a retrospective evaluation and looked at attendance rates, referral rates and discharge rates. It also looked at the impact the service had on parents and staff within the services. In terms of child outcomes, the findings speak for themselves. Children are seen at a much earlier age, so between 2.5 and 3 years of age. In fact, 55% of all children referred to the CDI service had not been referred to any other speech and language therapy service. Waiting times for assessment were greatly reduced, which ranged anything from 2 to 4 weeks, in comparison to the HSE, which had a waiting period of up to 18 months. Additionally, children were referred to other specialist agencies, including ear, nose and throat, assessment of need and psychology, thus further reducing another risk factor in these child's lives. Parents reported that they were better equipped and skilled to understand speech and language development as well as supporting their child who had a speech and language need. They found the on-site delivery less disruptive to their child and to them. They also felt that their child was more ready to transition to primary school. In terms of staff outcomes, staff reported a dramatic change in their practice. They had a better understanding of speech and language milestones, as well as supporting children with speech and language needs. Given the positive findings from this model of service delivery, it continues in Tara West. Also, other area-based childhood programmes are also delivering various models of speech and language therapy. Discussions are ongoing with the HSE about replicating or indeed rolling out this model of service delivery to other parts of Ireland. Delivering an on-site model of speech and language therapy can have great impacts for children, parents and staff. However, it is important to have a close working relationship with the local HSE speech and language therapy service to avoid duplication and to ensure effective service delivery. Setting up clear lines of communication and support structures is important to ensure the success of this model of speech and language delivery. Being able to remove one risk factor from children in high areas of need is worth considering. Equipping children, parents and staff with the skills to support something we all take for granted, the ability to communicate and the ability to be heard, is certainly worth considering.